Commissioner, on the 6th of July, when I made this address before the South Africans, it was because I wanted to inform the public about the level of challenges that we're experiencing as a South African Police Service in relation to the work we do as the police, which involve criminality and the political interference on the work that we do as the police, which will also include corruption within the value chain of the justice system, which we are part of as law enforcement. That's why the presentation that is attached here will be used as a reference, which is marked. I'm not going to refer to all of them, but by and large, Commissioners, that was to brief the nation to understand what challenges are we facing as a South African Police Service. Commissioner, on this paragraph level, it has been my aim that I want to demonstrate that the criminal justice system has been subject to a continuous threat, as well as sabotage, which has been with us over an extended period, to a point where we believe it is at real risk of a total collapse if nothing is done. Therefore, an urgent and effective interventions are required in order to avert this outcome. And I believe this Commission will stand to play a very important role in order to help us to prevent this total collapse of the justice system in our country. Commissioner, the establishment of the task team within the South African Police Service, it's a normal operational response that we employ in order to address a specific issue or challenge that we experience in the country. And these task teams are constituted at the provincial level by the discretion of the provincial commissioner, and some of them are initiated at the national level by the discretion and approval of the national commissioner. Political Killings Task Team is one of many of such project-based interventions that we employed in the South African Police Service. I might indicate that we have 11 of them at a national level that I can make a reference to. Political Task Team is one of those projects. There are many others, of which some of them are predating the date when the task team started, that have been in existence in the South African Police Service. Operating in different provinces include Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, as well as one that is running across all provinces, which is coordinated at national level. When the team started, we drew up the category of cases that the team must deal with. Largely were cases that were related to the political killings, but because we understood from the Madlanga Commission that the motive for these killings in the main were tenders. And the people that were affected in the main are the municipal managers, the CFOs or municipalities, and as well as different departments within the provincial government that end up being exposed in these matters because they are not awarding a tender to the place where some people are expecting them to send it to, which might be politically driven. Last year, on the 16th of April, through the submission that was made for the Political Killings Task Team to continue with its work in KwaZulu-Natal for the period of 12 months, which was a financial year, and also to request the approval of the budget for that purpose, and also recommending that we retain Lieutenant General Khumalo, despite the fact that he is now appointed as a Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence, but retain him to coordinate, to project lead or project manage this Political Killings Task Team. And that submission went to the National Commissioner, of course, via different levels within the National Office, of which one of them that I want to highlight, that the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sibia, who is currently the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection, received this submission, and he recommended the deployment of or the continuing deployment of this team and the funding thereof, as well as the approval, recommendation for the approval of Lieutenant General Khumalo to be a project manager for this team for the period 2024 to 2025. And this submission was made to the National Commissioner via the CFO, who allocated the funds, and the National Commissioner approved as such. So an approval was granted in April last year, which an approval will have lasted until the end of the financial year, which is March 2025. Commissioner, the assistance that was required by General Khumalo was of a highly specialized team that was to be deployed in Gauteng to assist in order to ensure that the investigation advanced swiftly. I can indicate, as I said earlier, that Lieutenant General Khumalo requested that a team of members from KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team be seconded to his investigation team, which was a Gauteng counterintelligence operations, in order to assist with the investigation. So he was specific as he was asking when he contacted me over the phone. In that request, when he was discussing with me, he ought to have explained the reason behind this. Counterintelligence is a more of a covert operation. So it is the work that ordinarily we don't account to in an open portfolio committee in the police, but through the Joint Standing Committee, that's how they account. So he gave me the explanation that will justify why he needs this specialization to come and assist. At 114, I can indicate, commissioners, that, as I said earlier, the methodology that was used by the team in KZN, the team brought that to this Gauteng operation, which was incorporated in Gauteng, which then led into the arrest of one Mr. Katiso Molefe, who was arrested, became the fourth suspect on the Vereeniging murder case. And that also included the execution of a search and seizure warrant at the property of another individual, Mr. Vusmus Ket Matlala. Both those operations, they were running on the same day, on the 6th of December, 2024, in Gauteng. Commissioner, I disagree with the assessment of the Minister in this regard. I have displayed earlier today, also in the statement, previous pages, the work that the team have done, the success rate, the performance that influence the extra work to be given to the team, which will include the work in Eastern Cape as well as traditional leadership. So for a minister to reach this conclusion, was because the minister has not received a formal briefing on the work that this team is doing. So to me, it was a wrong conclusion that the minister has reached, which is why it became a matter of concern. That is correct, Commissioner. I can't agree with you more. The minister's conclusion of saying that the team does not have any value in policing in South Africa was misplaced. It is my belief that perhaps, as I had said in the public in the very same month of January, that someone influenced the minister to do this. Commissioners, I am aware of the evidence that was extracted as the team in Gauteng were investigating, which made me reach the conclusion that indeed this is what made someone to influence the minister to close it, because the evidence that we're going to present later by someone who's going to come before this commission who were part of this Gauteng investigation, they uncovered that communication within the syndicates was making a reference to the team, not being understanding that what is happening in Gauteng is for Gauteng, it's not for KZN.
You say communication between the syndicate, but you are not implying that that communication extended to the minister, are you?
To some degree, the associates, as I referred to here on this paragraph, are associates of the minister. And the very same associate does show communication that seems to suggest that the minister is fully involved in the decision that this syndicate is taking.
Do you accept the responsibility on your part to substantiate fully, not necessarily today, but in the fullness of time, the conclusions you have drawn in that paragraph?
Yes, Commissioners, evidence is there on the record, although some of it will perhaps require to be covered in camera, but the evidence is there that will support my conclusion on this. The individuals, the colleagues, as I said earlier, my July briefing was a collective effort, men and women who are part of the investigation in Gauteng, who knows and they've gathered evidence to support the allegations that we ended up making. And they are going to come before this commission and they're going to present that evidence. We will be able, under oath, to confirm that indeed that is evidence that we've collected, and we have no reason not to believe that it is the real evidence that proves the linkages between the syndicates and the minister himself. The minister's letter does not say anything about the case dockets specific, so he did not direct on what must be done on this docket. I am informed that the determination on what must happen to the docket was taken by General Sibia through the written correspondence that he directed to his subordinate, which is the head of detectives, Lieutenant General Sentumole.